Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about a story that's mostly true, so it's a non-fiction story. We're going to talk about birds. Do you see birds outside your window? Sometimes I hear them making this noise. And sometimes our cat looks out the window and he tries to make the same noise that they're making. Birds around our house are mostly these large black birds. They're called ravens, and they walk along the ground picking up seeds. They don't hop like a lot of birds do. They are said to be very smart birds, and you see a lot of them around our house. The next bird, you see, maybe you can't see it as well as the raven, but it's a little tiny bird. It's called the hummingbird. And the hummingbird flies so fast that you can't even see his wings. They're just a blur when he flies. And he can fly forward and he can fly backward. He can even hover. That means he can fly and he can stay in one place. And sometimes he goes over to our bird of paradise plant, and he likes the orange birds of paradise, and he puts his little beak in there and gets sweet nectar. He likes to fly around any kind of flowers. Sometimes people put feeders out for hummingbirds, and they put sugar inside of them, sugar water, which people mix up and then put out for the hummingbirds. Birds are very different from other creatures. Birds can fly, but wait a minute, there's other creatures that can fly. Insects can fly, bats can fly. Well, let's see, birds lay eggs. That's something that a couple of other creatures can do. Snakes lay eggs, frogs lay eggs, platypuses lay eggs. There are lots of creatures that lay eggs. Fish lay a lot of eggs. And the one thing, though, that no other creature on earth has, except a bird, is this. This is a feather from a peacock. Only birds have feathers. So if you wonder if something is a bird, if it has feathers, yes, it is a bird. Now I'd like to tell you some more about how birds act and especially how they eat. The book is called Birds Eat and Eat. Birds eat and eat and eat. Birds eat and eat and eat. They seem to eat all day. How often do you eat? 3 times a day? 4 times a day? 5 times a day? Birds eat 10, 30, and even 50 times a day. Each day, a bird may eat hundreds of flies and gnats and bugs and caterpillars and worms and insects. It will eat hundreds of seeds and berries, too. Watch the birds to see how they eat. Blue jays and sparrows and juncos, fox sparrows and chewinks scratch and dig in the ground. Robins pull worms right out of the ground. A goldfinch sits on a sunflower and eats the seeds. Chickadees perch on the branch of a shrub and eat the seeds. They swing on the branch as they eat. Crows eat seeds too. They walk in a cornfield and pull up plants that have just started to grow. They eat the seeds at the bottom of the plants. That's why you put a scarecrow in the field. You see, the scarecrow has a sad face because he sees all the birds killing all the farmer's plants. Swallows and bluebirds catch their food in the air as they fly. They swoop and dive after gnats and insects. As the phoebe catches an insect, you can hear the bird click its beak. Woodpeckers get food from trees. Have you ever watched a woodpecker go up and down a tree? It stops to tap, tap, tap on the tree with its beak. It pecks holes in the tree to find the bugs and worms under the bark. Birds eat and eat and eat. You can see how much they eat. Put some breadcrumbs on the ground near your house. Sparrows and blue jays and starlings will soon find them and see how quickly they eat the crumbs. Birds eat and eat and eat. You can see how much they eat. Make a feeder out of an empty milk carton. Here's an empty little milk carton, the kind that you only have one glass of milk in. Or you can use a larger one like I did and cut it off, and you poke holes in the sides, opposite sides, and then you tie a string, or in this case a shoelace, through the holes, and you have a little basket to hold your seeds. Hang this feeder from a shrub or a low branch. Fill it with seeds. You can buy seeds for the birds at the grocery store. Once the birds find your feeder, they will eat and eat and eat until it's empty. Chickadees and goldfinches and blackbirds and nuthatches may come. They are seed eaters. When your feeder is empty, fill it again. See how quickly the birds empty it. Birds eat in different ways. The chickadee flies to a branch with a seed. It holds the seed between its feet. It pecks and pecks and pecks until the shell is open. It eats the kernel, that's the inside of the shell, and then flies to the feeder to get another one. The nuthatch poked a sunflower seed into a small hole in a tree. It pecks and pecks to open the seed. It eats the kernel and flies to get another seed. Birds eat and eat and eat. You can make a suet feeder. A suet is a piece of animal fat, and you have to get it from the butcher because the butcher cuts that off of the meat he sells. And it's just a piece of white fat, and you tie this fat to the branch of a tree. Big and little woodpeckers will come to it. They will eat and eat. Nuthatches and chickadees and blue jays will eat the suet too. See how many birds will eat from your feeders. They will come to your feeders every day. Once they start coming, you will be busy keeping your feeders filled. You may eat 3 or 4 times a day. Birds eat 10, 30, and even 50 times a day. They eat flies and gnats and bugs and caterpillars, worms and suet and seeds and berries. Birds eat and eat. They seem to eat all day. Mr. Rooster is a bird too, and he says, "Goodbye, boys and girls. See you next time."